Well, we don't have a lot of time. I want to make sure we're able to talk a little bit about Heartprints Are Forever. But as you think back to Footprints on the Heart, the most important takeaway, if there is anything, is there some piece of the book that you really wanted to make sure resonated well with readers? The folks that go 200 plus pages into a book, they've obviously taken the time, they're pulling out lots of nuggets, but is there some real takeaway message before we talk about Heartprints Are Forever?
Yes.
That you wanted to make sure that viewers who may want to get a copy or may not have seen it out and want to track down a copy, we'll talk about that in a second, but what's the biggest takeaway message?
The biggest takeaway that I get from my readers, and I get many letters, is that it's a book of hope and encouragement, and it's a book that lets them realize that I can make some changes. I can start small and do some things that impact the life of others.
Right.
And also what I'm taking away from that book is the format. It's a very simple book to read. Each chapter is independent. You can read for 10 minutes or an hour.
Totally unrelated to I mean, they're related, but you can read them totally
you can
independent
read
of
them
each
independently.
That's wonderful.
And a lot of people tell me, said, you know, I keep your book by my bedside, and when I just need a picker-upper or need a shot in the arm, or I need to just sort of light my flame for making a difference, I just can read a few pages and I'm on the way.
Wow.
That is what I like about that, and I do want to use the same format. And of course in my epilogue I deal with my son's death, and I get a lot of information. They use some thoughts from that, which is something that I don't talk about, but it's a way of communicating with others and expressing my feelings about that.
You don't talk about your son's death, but you wrote about it.
I wrote about it. That's how I dealt with his death.
Wow.
And you know, it speaks to many people. And in fact, the way that I open the new book is with actually it's the sermon that Tony Campolo collected about death, about legacy. And so I'm using that to carry over to kick off the new, it's going to be at the beginning, the first chapter of the new book, to tie them together, because it's the legacy piece in there.
Yes. Well, Heartprints Are Forever is a brilliant title. I'm glad, A, you heard it, B, you could research it on the internet and understand the significance of Heartprints, and C, to think about rolling that into a new book. I know you're a good ways along on it.
Yes.
What's the toughest part right now for you? Of course, again, it's book number 2, so you've got some skill. What's the toughest part on moving forward?
Well, the toughest part is weaving in the stories, because I've learned from the last 15 years, the power is in the story.
Right.
And people like stories because they can relate to stories. So the content, the research, you know, that's not the problem. It's weaving the stories that grab hearts and link people. So that to me is the most difficult part, is knowing exactly how to weave them in so they have meaning that lasts forever. So weaving in the stories, and I just think, oh, I need to put that in there, and now I'm so overloaded with what I need to put in there. Right. But I'm sure it will all work out.
The idea that it's a book about legacy. It's a book about legacy. How does legacy tie? What's the importance of legacy?
Well, after all is said and done, I think everyone wants to know that they have somehow made a difference, that somehow that what they've done will carry on. I just know that some of the things like the gift of words, the generational gifts, the talking about the importance of family will live on.
Right.
I just know it's a topic that people are interested in. They do want to know, how can I make a difference? We all leave heartprints, we all leave footprints, but they can be negative footprints.
Great point, yes.
But we want it to be a positive thing. We want to perpetuate a positive history. I want to. And because there's enough negativity in the world, and I talk about the complainers and the criticizers and the whiners. We don't sign up to sit with them.
No.
They're
Muriel,
toxic.
do those folks know that they are negative? Do they
some
know
of
that
them
they're
don't.
perpetual negativity?
It's such a part, with some people, it's such a part they don't realize they're doing it. But I want to alert people like you, watch it. You don't need to hang out with those people, they pull you down. We think if we who are positive hang out with people who are not, that somehow we're going to bring them up. The research is just the opposite. They pull us down.
Wow.
So we have to hang out, and they've got to see it. That's why we have to be that example. So whatever you have, I want.
Yes, the old Christ-like example, the idea of being
I want to be like you.
Sure,
I don't know what there is about you, but it doesn't just happen. We have to work at being that positive perpetuator.
So we can't pull up negative folks?
Well, we can. They have to want to be pulled up.
Right.
We can't
And that's an
make
important
them.
thing. How do you have your books worked hard on trying to help, or is that something you do in your public speaking to work
Well,
hard?
I do that. I talk about growing positive people. Just to get the idea is that it doesn't just happen.
Right.
You know, people look at you, or people look at others and say, "Oh man, that's just the way they are. They were born that way."
Yeah.
Well, I know we're all born with certain needs. According to Glasser, the needs are to survive, to love and be loved, the need to have some power, the need to have some freedom, but also the need to have some fun.
Yes.
So I want to have fun in that book as well. I think the most important four-letter word, the most important F word is fun.
Right.
So in doing this, and when we have a positive attitude, it's uplifting. People want, for whatever reason, to be around those people.
Yes.
I do. I want them to rub off on me.
Truly, Muriel.
So that's part of that perpetuating a positive legacy.
Well, we've just got a couple of minutes. The idea of folks wanting to track down not only Footprints on the Heart, but wanting to know when Heartprints Are Forever is coming up, or to potentially get involved with you, to come have you speak to their community group, civic group, nonprofit organization. What's the best way to reach you, to also to track down the locations for where the book is made available?
Yes. Well, the best way is my email is muriel@murielotuel.com.
Okay, good.
And I have a website at murielotuel.com.
Okay, great.
And then my phone number, that's always a good way.
Good.
I love
a lot
talking to people.
That's great. A lot of our viewers may not have internet access.
And that's 843-249
Right.
6903.
And you check your messages if they miss you?
Yes, I do.
Okay, 843-249-6903. And you travel throughout the PD, southeastern North Carolina.
do.
I know you've got ties, of course, to, is it Columbus County or
Oh, yes, I do.
Tabor
I grew
City?
up in Columbus County.
Yes.
I have lots of stories about that, but we talked about that last time, and we'll save that.
That's exactly
And
right.
actually, I was in Oslo, Norway, speaking 2 years ago.
Oh, come on.
And that is a different culture. Let me tell you,
Oslo,
they do.
how did someone in Oslo, Norway hook up with you?
Well, I had spoken with a women's educator group, and they were having a regional conference. They said, come. And I said, surely I want to come. And I live with someone. It cuts down on expenses when you make friends and stay in their home. And, and it was wonderful. Her husband got up and made fresh bread every day.
No.
And they walk everywhere. I learned a lot. For child care, the men have to take off several weeks to look after the newborn.
Really?
With pay. Oh, it's wild. It's wonderful.
Head to Oslo, yes, yes.
So there's a lot to learn and a lot to be involved in, and I'm just open and hope that I'll be learning as long as I live, because there's a lot out there to be involved in.
Yes, Muriel. You know, for folks who are looking for a new book and something that may really, the goal for Heartprints Are Forever is to connect with folks in a way that'll truly change their lives.
To remind them that the legacy we leave is something we need to think about and take action to make it a legacy we want to go on forever.
Right. Those are great words. Thanks so much for being with us this morning. I'm sorry we've run out of time.
That's fine, Greg. It's wonderful to be
Get
with
you
you.
another time for sure. Stay tuned to a little more with Dr. Muriel O'Tuel coming up next. Footprints on the Heart, the caring path to prosperity. If you sat here the last 30 minutes, you got a good feel of what the book's all about, but I can't say anyone can summarize it better than Mickey Spillane and his words on the back cover. I love it. maybe you'll see yourself in this portrait, or maybe you'll remember that very special person who guided you through those trepidatious years of growing up. Or perhaps you can be prodded into being one of the good guys others can look up to. This old world sure needs that. Aren't those great words? Very special words from a very special person. And it's words like that that are making a difference to set the stage for Muriel to put together Heartprints Are Forever. Heartprints Are Forever is the next book. Wait a little while, not long, until it comes out, and you can check out Muriel O'Tuel anytime by giving her a call at 843-249-6903 or going online to her website. Muriel, thanks again for being with us this morning.
A pleasure.
Absolutely.